Bleacher Report has come up with multiple mock trades for the New York Knicks that would change the complexion of their season or change the team as a whole, and we have to talk about this. So welcome back to Knicks Digest. My name is Chris, and we're going to jump right into things as we always do, because Bleacher Report has just come out with multiple trades that could change the way that the New York Knicks are playing basketball for the future. So let's waste no time and jump right into the first one, and that is Bojan Bogdanovic to the New York Knicks in exchange for Evan Fournier, Deuce McBride, and a 2024 first-round pick via the Detroit Pistons themselves. Now, this Detroit pick obviously has a protection on it, or the New York Knicks would have one of the best assets in the NBA. It is, I believe, top 16 protected. It is certainly not going to convey this year. The Pistons are 2-14 at the time of me filming this video, so there's just absolutely no chance that happens. And because of that, I'm sort of interested in this. Now, those protections are going to steadily increase as the time goes on before they turn into 2 second-round picks, and I don't think the Pistons are going to be good anytime soon. With that all being said, I think it would make sense for the New York Knicks to go for Bojan Bogdanovic. I do have a major problem with this that's sort of pulling me back, though, and that is that I could see Bojan Bogdanovic getting traded to the Knicks and becoming exactly what Evan Fournier is, where despite the fact that he's healthy, he's never going to play, because he's not the defender that Emmanuel Quickley, who's a different position completely, Josh Hart, or Dante DiVincenzo are. And that is a problem, because those guys are all above average defenders. Quickley's a tremendous defender. Dante DiVincenzo is an excellent defender. And Bojan Bogdanovic just isn't. Is he a better shooter than them? Yes. But the lack of defense sort of gives an Evan Fournier-ish vibe, and I don't want the Knicks to give away a first-round pick for them to just bench a guy consistently like they did with Cam Reddish. Now, given the Cam Reddish stuff all worked out, as we saw Cam Reddish get traded for Josh Hart, and that was an excellent trade that changed the complexion of the Knicks season last year and brought them from a team that was very good to a team that was absolutely unreal when it comes to Knicks standards over the past few years. And it took the Knicks from being a middle-of-the-road 6th seed to the 4th seed in the East, or the 5th seed in the East, sorry, but they ended up running through the Cleveland Cavaliers. Josh Hart was a huge help throughout the playoffs, and he was just an awesome addition to the team. I want Bojan Bogdanovic to play on the Knicks, and I want him to get around 10 to 15 minutes per night. And the way to do that is to give situational minutes and to also take some minutes away from the starters. Tom Thibodeau is obviously notorious for overplaying his starters. And Bojan Bogdanovic gives them a real backup power forward. It would add to their shooting completely. It would help make them a more well-rounded roster. And if you look at the reasoning here, essentially what Zach Buckley is saying is that the New York Knicks need some more offensive juice. They'll always be in the market for more shooting as long as Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson are in the front court. And that's obviously true. I mean, RJ Barrett's having a great shooting season, and just a great season in general. But Julius Randle's an inside scorer, so yeah, his three-point shooting's alright for that, but it doesn't make him a great three-point shooter. And Mitchell Robinson this season is shooting 35.2% from the free throw line. So he's probably, going to shoot 5-6 jump shots for his career? As great as Mitchell Robinson is, don't believe me, I'm not hating on Mitch, but, you know, he's not here to shoot the ball at all. He's here to get the rebounds, be an elite defender, be the best offensive rebounder I've ever seen, stuff like that. So I don't want the New York Knicks to trade for Bojan Bogdanovic, and then the next thing we know, he's just benched the entire time. And we gave up a protected first-round pick for that, which we could have used in an asset for a trade that, matters. That's my big fear when it comes to the Bojan Bogdanovic trade. However, if the Knicks could find a way to get him 15 minutes a night, add to the shooting, add to the size that they have, give a real forward on the team outside of just Julius Randle, I think that would be huge for them. However, that is not the bigger of the two trades. The next one is, and it covers something the Knicks might need even more than shooting, which is shot creation. And you probably know where I'm going with this one because you looked at the thumbnail, and we're never going to stop talking about it, so stop asking. Donovan Mitchell to the New York Knicks in exchange for RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Deuce McBride, a 2024 top 12 protected pick via the Washington Wizards, which is the protection the Wizards have on it. Obviously not going to convey the Wizards like the Pistons are 2-14 when I'm filming this. The 2027 Knicks unprotected first-round pick, a 2029 unprotected Knicks first-round pick, and a 2028 first-round pick swap. Now, I have said countless times that I don't think Donovan Mitchell fits with this New York Knicks team. Dario and I have gotten on videos together talking about how does it move the needle? maybe not to where the Knicks are looking to move the needle for a star trade like this, and also the fit is a problem. However, I've talked about that so extensively, I know that it gets annoying to just consistently hear the same argument over and over and over again. It gets really annoying. So today, what we are going to do is we're going to give the reasons why Donovan Mitchell could be a good asset for the New York Knicks, starting with the fact that he's Donovan Mitchell. Also, I will add, I don't like this trade at all. If we just look at it once again, if you just look at the trade, Donovan Mitchell's a tremendous player, but to trade R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Deuce McBride, and 4 first-round picks, 1 a protected Wizards pick, and 1 a New York Knicks pick swap, and then 2 unprotecteds, that's still a lot. It's still a lot for a guy who you just beat in the playoffs and held to 28% from 3 in that series. Donovan did not have a great series. He probably had the best series on the Cavs, but he didn't have a great series. And we've seen this in the playoffs before. We've seen him be on disappointing teams. And this is all stuff that Dario and I have talked about. So I just want to get it out of the way very quickly, which is the fact that I think that is way too much for Donovan Mitchell where the New York Knicks stand right now fit-wise. Say he would fit perfectly with the Knicks like a glove, then maybe that trade would make more sense. However, it does not. But let's argue why Donovan Mitchell could be a good asset for the New York Knicks for the right price, starting just with a straight-up stats point of view. Donovan's also, just to mention beforehand, his PER is at 22. I checked right before this video. But his simple stats look at 27 points per game, 37% from 3, 45% from the field, and 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Not to mention he's getting nearly 2 steals a game. However, there still is the caveat of Donovan Mitchell's getting steals, but is he really a great defender? That's the question. And the answer is no, he's not a great defender. But maybe he could become one. Look at it this way. You put him on a team with Tom Thibodeau, not the Quinn Snyder Jazz, where the whole defensive plan was no matter who you are, funnel them to Rudy Gobert. And when you have Rudy Gobert, who was at his peak defense, and he's back at that now in Minnesota, it makes some sense. But on the Cavs, it's not like Mitchell's been a tremendous defender. It feels like he doesn't care on that end, and maybe that's the problem. And also, what do I know? I'm not in the NBA, so maybe I'm wrong. But Donovan has clearly not been the defender that he looks like he can be. He's 6'3", which yes is a little short for a shooting guard position. However, he's a 6'10" wingspan. He's a super athletic player. He clearly has some semblance of a basketball IQ, to put it lightly. Like, the guy has the tools to be a good defender. You can't argue that there's, like, oh, it's like he's Trae Young. He's short. He's pretty skinny. He isn't very strong. His arms are not that long. Of course he's not a great defender. Or J.J. Redick, where it's like, oh, he's a 6'4" shooting guard who's not a great athlete and dunked the ball one time in the NBA and has a negative wingspan. Donovan Mitchell has the tools to be a great defender. I think it comes down to coaching. And Tom Thibodeau, if any coach ever, could probably get Donovan Mitchell there. And now let's just look at the argument in pro Donovan Mitchell that Zach Buckley wrote, which is in the year plus since his trade to Cleveland, New York has seen Brunson become a rising star. He's now an all-star level player. Mitchell Robinson cemented his spot among the best paint protectors and just one of the best centers in general. Julius Randle has been an all-NBA player now twice with the New York Knicks in the last 3 years. Team those three with Donovan Mitchell and Quentin Grimes, and the Knicks would have one of the league's best starting lineups. Plus, you still have Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, and Isaiah Hartenstein off the bench. That's an 8-man rotation that can hang with anyone come playoff time. I honestly cannot agree with Zach Buckley more. On paper, especially, that team can win the NBA Finals. The NBA is so much parity right now, it's hard to predict who's going to win the Finals. If you look at a team like the Boston Celtics, you could say, yeah, they certainly have the best starting lineup. They don't have the best bench. Like, the Sam Hauser, Al Horford bench is not some thrill. The New York Knicks have a better bench than that. Especially when you go into who else is on their roster. You got a guy like Jericho Sims who you can play situationally. You'd still have Evan Fournier who can add some shooting. Like, you'd have stuff to work with. It also means Evan Fournier gets to play for the Knicks. Or you make a separate trade, like the Bogdanovic trade, add to your bench. Then you have a team, excuse me, that could realistically go for the NBA Finals. And that's why people want to trade for Donovan Mitchell, and I think it makes sense. Especially when we're looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers have been a massive disappointment since they've gotten Donovan. I'm pretty sure, and I can't say this for certain, that the reason behind getting Donovan Mitchell for the Cavs, which I argued made sense at the time, I argued it to the void because I wasn't on YouTube back then, is that they were hoping that Donovan Mitchell is going to be the second best player to Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley's offense has not come along at all as expected. The defense is great, but he's still really skinny. He can't fully play center yet. He doesn't have an offensive game. He can't shoot. There's just a lot of problems and holes in Evan Mobley's game when people saw him as the next Anthony Davis, and that has not clicked so far. Obviously, he's young. Big men sometimes take a few years to get it together, and then they hit their stride and are tremendous. And I'm not saying that Evan Mobley's not going to have that happen. Who knows? Maybe he absolutely will have that happen. But right now, it's pretty unclear. He's an elite defender. There's no arguing that, but the offense is just not there. Donovan Mitchell is certainly the best player on that team, and I'd say Darius Garland might be the second best player. So your Evan Mobley plan is not working out. Donovan is older than these guys. He is not much older, but he's older. He's 26. He's getting, again, not getting up there, but he's older than Evan Mobley. He's older than Darius Garland. If you were to make that trade, you reset the Cavs timeline, sort of, and that is sort of something that Zach Buckley was arguing on why the Cavs should do it. I think the Cavs should do it because Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs, this experiment has been a tremendous disappointment. Your first year in the playoffs, you won one game against the New York Knicks, the team that was really gunning for Donovan Mitchell. And that's it. And now you're not having a tremendous start to the season. You're not bad, but you're not great. You guys are looking at the ticker below. You'll see the Cavs show up. It's like, ooh, okay. I don't know, guys. I think the Cavs have been pretty disappointing. And I think because of that, Donovan Mitchell is looking at what can I do? Where can I go? When do I request a trade if I do? And that all hinges on this season. This trade would not happen this season, as cool as that could be, because it would just be electrifying to see Donovan Mitchell in a New York Knicks jersey. There's no argument that the man is incredibly fun to watch and that he performs tremendously. There's a reason why he had a 71-point game once upon a time. I say that like it wasn't last year, less than a year ago. But there's a reason why he had a 71-point game. The man is electrifying. When he gets hot, he's incredible. And he's just an exciting player to watch who would really change the complexion of the Knicks. But he wants to win. And I think he has a better chance at winning with the New York Knicks right now than he does with the Cavs, because the Cavs cannot seem to get a groove going. It's really just rough to see for them. And I think because of that, they're going to end up losing Donovan Mitchell. Whereas the New York Knicks, if they got Mitchell, it feels like they still improve. See, they're right there. They're 9-8. That's not great. I'll be honest, I had no idea what their record was. I knew it was close to 500, but it's hard to count how many games other teams have played. You guys understand. But yeah, no, I don't think that Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs are going to end well. I never saw this ending well unless Evan Mobley truly panned out, and then I saw it ending in an NBA Finals. But Evan Mobley has not panned out to the way that the Cavs have hoped, and I do think we're going to see Donovan Mitchell leave. So I think the New York Knicks should hold off on this, and you won't have to give this up. You won't have to give up R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Deuce McBride, and 4 first-round picks. The price will go down, and that is very important to see, and I think the New York Knicks should hold off. But there obviously are things that, maybe make more sense for the Knicks. But, I always am saying the Knicks should not trade for Donovan Mitchell. I have to give reasons on the other side. This is what we do on Knicks Digest. We are trying our best to not be biased unless our bias is held towards the Knicks. Then some of the bets are off. All bets are never off, but some of the bets are off with the New York Knicks. Come on, we're Knicks fans out here. But thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. This is a fun one to make. I love talking trades, and this was just a great time. Let me know if you think the Knicks should make either of these trades below. You guys have seen the trades. You guys can go on to Bleacher Report and look at the Zach Buckley article yourself. There are some other interesting non-Knicks related trades. And I think that maybe the Bogdanovic one makes sense, but with Donovan Mitchell, if you're going to trade for him, hold off. Or see if you can just get him in free agency. That's what makes more sense to me. However, obviously, there's reasons to believe that Mitchell is great. But that's enough for an outro, guys. You don't need a 5-minute outro, so I will just leave you with a thank you. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. It'll make my day. And go New York Knicks.